Keiko from Brooklyn Shoe Space. This is Shoe Talks Quarantine Edition. It's almost been a month since we started this Shoe Talks. Today we're inviting Michelle from MBQ Bespoke. Oh no, sorry. It's actually MBQ Handmade. I just posted that right there. She is a friend of ours. She's an educator, a bespoke shoemaker, and right now she's a pattern maker at a corporation athletic company. I think if you go to her profile, you'll see which company it is. She moved out to LA and possibly, I think, Portland as well. I think right now she is in LA, and I actually haven't caught up with her since she took on the new role. So it'll be great if we can catch up. Let's see if she's on. Yes, she is. Hi, and I am going to invite her. And we're waiting for Michelle.
Hey,
Hi.
Kak.
Hi, how are you, Michelle?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. How has quarantining been? How are you dealing with it all?
It's good. I mean, big adjustment.
Yeah.
Obviously now, at least here, we're like almost 8 or 9 weeks into it. So
Us too. I think you guys are a week or so ahead of us. I think you guys started earlier.
yeah, it was like mid-March,
Yeah.
I think, when California did the shelter in place.
Uh-huh.
So it almost feels normal now, but it's been a huge adjustment, obviously.
Yeah. I see
And,
sometimes you go on hikes. Are the hikes open still or are they closed?
I think a few of them, like for a while, things were closed, like the public parks. There were some like neighborhood trails that were still open, but we kind of stopped going because a few times we went and it was just too hard to avoid people on like the narrow pass and stuff. And
Right.
just figured better be safe. So we
Yeah.
like walk around the neighborhood and go to the grocery store, but not much else.
Right. Ashley waves at you. Ashley friend. Okay.
Oh yeah, I
All
see
right.
some
Yeah.
friends' names.
Yeah, so tell us what you're doing nowadays, and you have a studio space, it seems like that you made for yourself. It'll be great if we can get a little tour.
Yeah, of course. So I mean, this year has been a lot of changes for me. I think you mentioned, like when we met, I was a full-time educator, helping to run an accessory design program at the university level. And about, I guess, like 13 months ago or so, just over a year, I decided to leave full-time teaching and go back into the industry in a new capacity. I had mostly worked in bespoke and fashion footwear, and I decided to go into sneakers. So I got a job with Adidas as a pattern engineer. And so I moved out to LA for that, and was doing pattern engineering for a sample room here,
Yeah.
and working with an amazing team of people doing concept creation. But a few months ago, I had another opportunity come up within Adidas to join the originals team in Portland, and still doing pattern work, but instead of working on like creating samples for like at the concept level, like initial designs, it's much more focused on manufacturing and helping to review patterns and try to make things more efficient, find ways we can, not only save material, but, save like labor and really getting into like the nuts and bolts of how things are produced at a mass scale, which I feel like is where I can have a big impact.
Yeah.
It was something I wanted to do because that's something that isn't really taught that much. Like there's a lot of teaching with shoemaking and design focus, but it can be really hard. I mean, there's a few resources, but it can be tough to really learn about the industry and how things are manufactured.
Yep.
So large scale goals are to go back into teaching in the future. And so this is really going to help kind of
With
build my skill set.
experience. Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. What are you currently in? Yeah, you're in LA. You don't have to move to Portland? Are you working remotely or?
Well, the plan is to move to Portland. We were actually, me and my partner were supposed to move um, later, like last month,
Oh,
but just due to everything going on,
yeah,
we,
everything paused.
yeah, so the offices are closed and everyone's
Yeah.
working remotely.
Wow.
So I have just been working remotely from here, which
Mm-hmm.
you know I'm getting a little bit extra time in LA and to prepare for the move.
Yeah.
But yes, I will be relocating to Portland for the job, which is exciting. There are great
Yeah.
things about
Yeah.
LA, but after living in a very small town for like 8 years, I'm really excited to not drive so much and
Right.
live in a smaller city. And it's a
Right.
footwear capital, which is exciting.